Hey everyone, I'm at the Gameland Games booth at Gen Con 2019, and I'm joined by Sam. Sam, thank you so much for joining us.
You are very welcome. I'm happy that you came by.
So we're going to take a look at Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Sam has got this beautiful setup laid out for us, and he's going to give us a quick overview on the game and how to play. Sam, I'll let you take it away.
All right. So, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is a 4X game, which means there are going to be 4 unique paths to victory. The 4 X's stand for Explore, Expand, Exploit, and Exterminate. So all of those are going to be associated with different ways to score victory points. In Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, you are going to take control of one of the great factions in the world of Ogmore. So here I have 2 factions out. I have the humans with their faction board, and then I also, on the other side, have the Lionkin with their faction board. When you take control of a faction, you have 3 types of units. You have your basic unit, which is a serf. Serfs are very utilitarian, but not so great in battle. You have your warriors, which are your basic battle unit. They are very useful when you want to throw on a couple of extra points in combat. And then every faction has 3 unique heroes that you can recruit to send into battle and wreak havoc on your opponents. Each faction plays very differently and has their own special abilities, but the basic actions of the game are all very simple. And they allow following. So you can actually take actions on other people's returns. You can recruit, which brings in new units. Building, which unlocks new faction abilities, as well as placing towers on the board and actually physically building up your capital city. You have researching and scribe, so there are spells in the game. Researching allows you to go and find new spells. Scribing allows you to take the power of associating a spell with your faction. And being able to cast that over and over. And taxing, you are taxing the land of its resources. And on the other side, you have your command actions, which allow you to march around the board, start combats, to sail your ship, to fly your craft, and to cast spells. Very simple actions, but lots of great strategy in the game. And that's Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea.
Thank you, Sam. That sounds fantastic. Now, when I'm taking a look at the board, everything kind of looks a little intimidating. How accessible is it for some of the newer players who might not be playing 4X games as much?
So the game is very accessible, and part of that is those actions that I just talked about. Those actions by themselves are very simple, so it's not difficult to teach someone how to play the game. Where the depth and strategy comes in is what you do with those actions. So understanding how to do the actions is very simple and easy to get someone into the game. And this game only takes 30 minutes per player, so it's not as intimidating as, a really, really big game that takes 7 hours to play. This does hold true to a 30-minute per player game time, which makes it a much more reasonable introduction to the 4X genre.
That's fantastic. And I couldn't help but notice that you have a wonderful display up there where you've got a whole bunch of big boxes and a whole bunch of mini boxes as well. Can you talk a little bit about the expansions and what they offer?
Absolutely. So the base game of Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea allows for 1 to 4 players and gives you 4 different factions. You have the elves, the dwarves, the orcs, and the humans. The Order and Chaos expansion allows you to play with up to 6 players and adds in 4 new factions: the Lionkin, the Lizard Folk, the Undead, and the Goblins. The newest expansion that came out this year is Pestilence, and that adds for a 7th player expansion. The floating continent that you saw when we were looking a little bit earlier, that is from the Pestilence expansion. It adds in 2 new factions, the Bird Folk and the Merfolk. So the Bird Folk fly up above everybody else on the floating continent, and the Merfolk actually have a sunken continent, so they're fighting from below the ocean. That's added some really, really fun content to the game. The other ones, we have 3 mercenary packs, which mercenaries are an optional add to the game, that they are essentially additional heroes that anybody can recruit. They come with really cool special abilities. The nomads are an optional addition to the game. Nomads come out to the board, and they're going to fight against you until you beat them, and then you get them to work for you. Siege Weapons is a fun little mini expansion that makes it easier to go and attack towers and capital cities. And then the Pestilence Booster Pack is a bit of a promo pack. It adds in a bunch of new spells as well as a couple of mercenary vessels that anybody can recruit.
That's fantastic. I mean, just by looking at the game, I can see it's jam-packed with a lot of content, but if people love it and they want more, they've got just as much content to dig into to keep themselves interested.
No, you're fine. Absolutely. And all of this is available in retail right now. So you could go out either on GamelandGames.com or at your friendly local game store, and all of this is available for purchase.
Fantastic. Sam, I want to thank you again for taking the time to stop to chat with us about Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. This has been a fantastic experience.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.